What is up, guys, and welcome to the New to the Game podcast. This is Ben, your host. I'm actually without Chris today. Chris is at home, likely just being an awesome dad and an awesome husband. And I decided to hop on solo tonight because I had a thought that's just been really resonating with me recently, and I'm seeing it a lot, and I wanted to be able to talk about it with you guys. So we had a call today. We did an open Q&A call inside of our school group platform. It's basically just a community for younger entrepreneurs that are stepping into the trades. And the one of the guys that was on this call was sharing about his business, and he's just started his business. He's kind of getting the ball rolling, getting things off the ground, developing different little elements of his business as he goes. And as he was talking, I heard a thing that I hear in a lot of new entrepreneurs that I used to say a lot of it myself. And it's this idea or tendency towards when you've just started your business, you're kind of getting things going, you're figuring things out, you're learning how to be able to deliver this service, you're buying the equipment, you're making sure you're like able and ready to be able to serve these people in an effective way. You're like getting your name out on Facebook, and it's honestly a really fun time to be in business because like typically your peers and your family and your friends are like super enthusiastic about you starting your business. Generally, people tend to be excited about a person going out on their own and starting a business. You're doing one of the absolute most difficult things that a person can do, but with one of the most amazing visions and missions in mind. Like you're trying to develop a better life for yourself, and you're decided that you're going to do it yourself. You're not going to try to allow that to be dictated by someone else. It's really inspiring to me when people start new businesses. But the thing that can very easily happen, and it happens almost like too fast sometimes, is when you start a business and you're getting all this stuff going, you start to allow noise. You start to allow noise into the picture that isn't your own noise. What I mean by that is maybe you've joined a Facebook group, maybe you're in a coaching community, maybe you're listening to your family and all these different people throwing all their ideas at you. People think that it's like really helpful for a new business owner to have a million different ideas of how they can build their business, which is like not helpful at all for business owners because most of the time they have all the ideas. That's what they're good at, is the idea part, that now they just need to actually start taking action. Um, so if you're giving advice to a new business person, maybe just press pause on that advice and like think, is it actually something this person needs right now? I digress. But what happens when you have all of these different inputs and all this different advice and all these different like ways and coaching and all these different ways that you can get better as a business owner, you tend to find yourself kind of caught in something of a tornado of different things that you can be giving your attention to. And it's very, very easy to become scatterbrained and anxious and really begin to even wrestle like with your own identity and thinking if you actually have it and if you're going to ever be enough to be able to amount to all these different potential things that you can do to build your business. Because our dream is that one day we can do everything. I can tell you that with 6 years of experience now, it still stresses me out sometimes, but I realize I can't do everything. There's still a lot of things that I could potentially do for my business that I know that I'm like, I just not going to do that right now because I just don't have the bandwidth for it. Now, as a new business owner, you have such an amazing thing going. Like, you just started a business. Focus on the business. I think that because we get buried in complexity, we make the new business development period a lot more challenging than it actually is supposed to be. I don't want to say that it's not hard. Like building a business is a very difficult thing. But the core value that I would really want to emphasize with y'all tonight is simplicity. Building a business at its core, especially starting a business, in my opinion, is more simple than we make it. I don't want to make it sound like it's just this cakewalk, but I don't know, it's not as complicated as we try to make it. The example that I had a word picture I was kind of thinking through is You guys have seen homes being built. Like you've driven through a newer development before and you see a home being built. Most of us, I would figure, are familiar with like the process. At least here in North Carolina, they're grading the property. They get it all down. They make sure it's shaped accordingly with the grade. And then once it's been graded, they start to build the foundation. So they're going to dig the foundational pieces first. They're normally going to pour like a concrete footing, and then they're going to kind of work on the pillars and all these different like elements to the foundation. They might introduce plumbing at some point and all this different stuff. So, anyways, there's a process to it. There's a procedure to building a successfully sound and foundationally sound home. And in the same way, there's the same for a business. It's like not, and when you really look at the big picture, like it doesn't seem that complicated, but it has many steps. But again, there's sort of a procedure, and as long as you follow the procedure, it tends to make sense, and you get from point A to point B to point C, and it progresses very naturally. What it feels like sometimes is that as new business owners, it's kind of like you're driving past one of those plots where they're building a new home, and instead of seeing that procedure that I just described to you, it's like they dug the trench, they sort of graded out the property. There's still like a ton of weeds everywhere, but they've done a light grading on it, and there's a stack of cinder blocks over here, and there's like pouring some concrete over here, and then they're like, oh, you know what, I think I really want to build a fence for this home. So they like start working on the fence, and then all of a sudden they start building a porch and a patio for this home when they haven't even like built the foundation of it yet. That's what a lot of small businesses look like. And I, it's kind of silly. It's also kind of sad sometimes because again, for me, like any business owner that has many years of experience can kind of look back at some of those early years in business and be like, "Oh my gosh, what was I doing? I could have done so much differently. I wish I had just given my attention to these core things. It would have been so much better." Uh, you don't have to make that mistake as a new business owner. I'm sure you will. I'm sure there's going to be times where you're like, oh man, what if I offered this service and did this thing and it would be so cool? And I don't know. You don't have to do that. Like, you don't. You can be able to take your time with your business. Like, focus on the business idea that you had that you thought was a really good business idea. Focus on getting the word out about that. Make sure it's priced properly. Make sure you're earning a reasonable profit that can allow you to take some money home and as well as leave some money in the business. Try to minimize the amount that you take out of the business early. Prioritize simplicity in your business early. And guys, you will have no idea how much that is going to be fruitful for your business in the future. It just will. Because again, you can do 100 different things, but like if you're giving 100 different things your effort when you could be giving 5 things that really matter your effort, what do you think is going to prove better at the other side? Your 1% effort across 100 different things, or an equally split 20% effort across 5 things? It's just, I don't know. I think there's so much time wasted as new business owners that it's not wasted because you're trying to like figure out how to be a business owner. It's wasted because a lot of times we're spinning our wheels on our ideas and all these different ambitions that we have, because a lot of times it means that we're neglecting what really matters. Maybe we're afraid of it. Maybe we are just like kind of not sure we want to touch it because it intimidates us. So because we have these new blooming ideas, we want to give those our attention because they're promising. It's kind of like the honeymoon phase of your business, running around after bright, shiny objects. And to any entrepreneur, an idea is a bright, shiny object. I just want to make that point. So think about that. Take some time and sit down. And I would do what I describe as an audit of your business, an audit of your life and business even. But really here we're talking about business. So do an audit of your business. Try to do something of a detaching yourself from all of the things for a short while, maybe disconnecting from all of the noise for a short while, and focus on the business at its very core of what it's supposed to be. And then with time, as you've been able to prioritize those 5 things, what typically tends to happen is that those 5 things kind of become more or less a lot more natural. They become more maybe automated would be the word I would use. And as you begin to get this muscle memory for these 5 things, you then can introduce another thing or the next thing or this idea or this marketing strategy or that effort. And that can be a way to build a business that is super simple, but also doesn't require you to learn everything all at once. It doesn't require you to give a million things your attention. You get to keep your attention focused, and your business is going to be so much better as a result, so much healthier as a result. So my invitation is do an audit of your business. Think about, what would my business look like if I made it the most minimal possible thing that I could make it, at least right now, as far as my effort and my attention and what I'm actually doing right now in my business. And then if there's anything that isn't in line with that fundamental core foundation of your business, consider putting it on pause for right now. Throw it on a to-do list or in an Asana board or something like that. Keep it elsewhere, have it in a catch bucket somewhere, write it down in your notebook, and then forget about it. Prioritize the important things first. Keep it simple. Don't try to overcomplicate it. And guys, it's going to really serve your business. And if for any reason this podcast is just another one of those pieces of noise that's really distracting for you and it's preventing you from doing the few things that you really need to do in your business to push it forward, please just turn us off. You don't need to listen to us. If we're not what you need at this point in your time in business, then don't listen to us. If you are in that place where it's you're needing simplicity, you're early in the business and you're trying to figure out, we are going to be a really helpful voice for you. That's why we built this podcast. It's because we want to be a helpful voice, and we're going to make sure that we are. But if we aren't serving that purpose, then forget about us. It's fine. We're not hurt by it. We're actually happy that you're taking right steps and appropriate action for your business. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you hopping on and listening to this bonus episode here. If you have any questions on this, please reach out to us. And again, if you haven't already, please join our school group. This is going to be the place where you're going to be able to connect more deeply with us, be around a community of like-minded people, and put yourself in an environment where you can focus on those foundational things early so you can build truly sound, confident, healthy businesses that can better your life. So anyways, y'all have a great night, and thanks for listening.